Hey there, wire workers. It's me, Stephanie, back again, and I have my friend Kathy Milligan right here, and she is awesome. You've done almost, I don't know, like everything in the jewelry making world. She even has a book.
Yes.
And why don't you're going to teach us through, you're going to walk us through some awesome new tutorials. We're going to do a pendant and earring set. So before we get started, let's talk about you, Kathy. Like, tell me a little bit about yourself.
Well, I'm primarily at this point a glass worker. I started as a bead maker, and it goes back to the whole jewelry making thing. I really wanted to make my own jewelry, and when I had the opportunity to learn bead making, I was like, oh my God, really? So I could take glass, raw glass, wire, and make a piece of jewelry. And it wasn't like dependent on what was available at the jewelry store, the bead store. So from there, then I expanded into other aspects of glass fusing and slumping, that's making plates and tiles and casting, and I've just added glass blowing into my studio. So I have a retail store in Highland Park, which is on the outside of Los Angeles, well not outside, but like from downtown. And
what's the name of it?
It's called The Glass Studio.
The Glass Studio, and can they reach you, do you have a website? Or?
Yeah, theglassstudio.net.
Awesome, bookmark that, guys. You're gonna learn a lot of things. Now tell me also, you, like I mentioned earlier, you have a book. So what's the name of the book? Can people find it?
The book is called Mod Knots, and it's about macrame. But it's not, we like to say it's not your mother's macrame or your grandmother's macrame, depending on how old you are. So there's no plant hangers in it. There's no wall hangings. It's jewelry and accessories. So there's wire projects.
Cool.
There are beaded projects. There's leather. There's metal clay. I did a guitar strap, a leash and collar for a dog, a halter top, a purse. So there's all kinds of different things. I even felted a little bag, and it's just trying to get macrame back out there, and it seems to be working because I see a lot of macrame around.
I really do want to recommend that to you wire workers out there. If you want to further your education, get out there, try new things, and your book is a great place to start. And besides the book, I know that you also have a newspaper.
Yeah, I do. I publish a newspaper. I've been doing it for 1.5 years now, and it's called Nila Art News, and its focus is arts and culture in Northeast Los Angeles, which happens to be one of the oldest communities in Los Angeles. It was the first one annexed in, and it has this rich history of arts and crafts, and it's amazing how many different places in the area that offer classes like I do. You can learn welding, ceramics, woodworking, knitting, figure drawing, and they're all in this area, this wonderful area of Northeast Los Angeles.
I want to learn more. That sounds really fun.
I know, it's really fun. I know a lot of people that teach a lot of really cool things.
That is so cool. And so speaking of teaching, obviously you're going to teach me today, but you do have courses at your store, right?
Yeah, they're all listed on my website under the classes page.
Awesome.
And it's constantly changing, and I have weekly series of jewelry making, also of fusing, so you can come in and each week takes your skill set a little bit further.
Oh, that's fabulous. All right, well, now that I know I'm in capable hands, very capable hands, let's get started on a project here. And what are we doing today?
We're going to make flowers.
Awesome.
It's a doodle of mine, and I actually doodle these, and from there, use them as a guide. It's a reference. It's not identical. Sometimes I get there where it's identical, but most of the time it's just a reference. So I find myself, doodling, as a lot of artists do, and then I like to interpret it into wire. So first, practicing with copper or an inexpensive type of wire, because I tend to work in sterling silver for my jewelry. So you just get some, this happens to be 18 gauge wire, which for this type of project I find to be the smallest gauge.
Okay.
Now, if you're doing small earrings and things, a 20 gauge would be fine. They do need to be hammered to be work hardened and remain stiff, and that way they won't pull apart. So and with that, we're using our traditional, like what I like to think of as our wire tools, our chain nose pliers, our round nose pliers, and our nippers, but adding into it are these wonderful pliers, round nose, that have different sizes. This one is my current favorite. It makes these ear wires beautifully.
Whoa, that's so cool.
You really never have to buy ear wires again. And
That's fabulous.
You know, that sometimes it's like, okay, I'm making a pair of earrings. Oh, I'm out of ear wires. No,
Right.
I'm not.
Yeah.
I have 20 gauge wire.
Oh, man.
So these are what I'm using. These for this particular flower.
Right.
Now, but, you know, just to keep in mind, if you're a doodler and you're not a flower doodler, and maybe you're a heart doodler, you can make a heart. And I did this one with a little loop on the bottom so you can dangle.
That's so cool.
Or in the case of this one, where I just like swirls, because I'm thinking about connectors, you know, so it's not just about a pendant, but, you know, different components, because I like the long chains and, you know, adding all kinds of different components to it. So when I did this one, it was, you know, there it is.
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
And so I just put a bead on it, and this happens to be one of my beads that I've made.
Well, wow.
I'm a little, I don't know, I just use my beads all the time.
You should. They're awesome.
I have a hard time using other beads, but I work towards it. I really do. I think I might, no, I don't.
Your beads are fabulous. And so, wire workers, I know that we do not have these in our kit, but this is a further item you can get to educate yourself more and kind of expand your kit. So I do really recommend, if you guys want to get more in depth, picking up one of these guys. These are awesome.
Yeah,
so
they're wonderful. They
cool.
can be found. I carry them in my store. You can also find them online. There you go. It's amazing how many different types of products that are out there to assist, you know, wire people, jewelry people, and the kinds of things to make it accessible, so that you don't have to break the bank to be able to sit down and make fun, pretty jewelry.
Right.
You know,
I mean, also you're saving money because you're not buying like the hanging earring items from, you know, like craft stores. You can just make your own. That's great.
Yeah. And if you like the kind that have even the little balled up end, I didn't bring a torch today, but
hello.
Another time. You can ball up the end of it and then do it, so you have that little cute little ball at the end of the piece. So now, in terms of making this guy here, you know, I'm kind of a free-form kind of gal, so especially in practice, I just tend to pull out a bunch of wire, because I can show you all the ones that I've done that where I didn't have enough. You know,
I've been there.
This is also like the macrame mentality. You have to overdo it, because there's nothing worse than getting at the end of it and not having enough to complete your final knots. So, you know, a little bit of excess, and you keep it, if you're working in sterling, just keep your clippings, and at some point you'll melt them down, you'll do something with them, trust me. I speak from experience. So I'm gonna pull out plenty, because, you know, we're doing these loops. So each one of those loops takes up more and more space. So we're gonna take some of our copper wire to practice with.
All right.
I find that, you know, you really need to practice these things. Although I am a bold adventurer and sometimes just grab the sterling and go. But in this case, you know, I want to tell everybody, practice with some copper. And the thing also about copper is that it's so popular now. There was that period of time where sterling silver got extremely expensive, and a lot of copper came out onto the market. So you can find a lot of copper findings and beads and different things like that are out there. So, you know, you make a bunch of these in copper, then you've got components for a copper necklace or a bracelet or whatever it is that you want, earrings. Or they look really lovely together. So, you know. All right, so I'm going to grab right at the end of the pliers as well as the end of the cord, and I'm rolling towards me. And then I'm going to move back, and I'm going to start the roll around so that you can see the swirl beginning.